Many of you know that our congregational trip to Morocco leaves very soon. I've learned that there are 10 living languages spoken in the country of Morocco, including one of the 10 is Judeo-Moroccan Arabic. It is only spoken by a minority of Morocco's 3,000 Jews, and I'm sure also spoken by a minority of Israelis of Moroccan Jewish descent. This unique dialect of Arabic, Hebrew, and medieval Spanish is protected mostly by Jewish Moroccan poetry and prayers and songs and folk tales. How do languages come and go? Why do languages come and go? The story of Noah's Ark gets most of the attention from this week's Parsha, but this week's Torah portion also includes the story of the Tower of Babel, which is an attempt to answer these questions: how languages come and go, why languages come and go. In just 9 verses, we learn about the power of speech. Our biblical ancestors tell this story early in Genesis to surmise how it came to be that humanity is spread out to the 4 corners of the earth, and why is it that we speak so many different languages. The 11th chapter of the book of Genesis explains that because the people of Shinar put their tower ambitions above everything else, because they had their eyes set on reaching the heavenly realm that is God's domain, God saw that they were at risk of losing their humanity altogether. God said, "If, as one people with one language for all, this is how they have begun to act, then nothing that they may propose to do will be out of their reach. Let us then go down and confound their speech there, so that they shall not understand one another's speech." Thus the eternal God scattered them from there all over the face of the whole earth, and they stopped building that city. So how many languages do you think there are in the world today? Who wants to try? Shout it out. 400, 500? How many? 6,000? The answer, according to my very brief research, is 7,000. Yes, very good. You get a prize. The Living Tongues Institute for Endangered Languages estimates that almost half of the world's 7,000 languages are currently endangered. According to linguists, a language dies every 2 weeks, and that more than half of the world's languages are at risk of extinction within the next century. So although languages naturally come and go throughout human history, they are currently dying at an accelerated rate because of globalization, because of mass migration, which is caused by many matters of climate change, and also what is known as the digital divide. The digital divide can lead to digital language death when younger generations of a language are not present on digital devices. So one could look at these studies and suggest that today's humanity is pushing against God's will. According to the Torah's telling of the Tower of Babel, God intended for people to live everywhere on earth and to speak different languages. It was a celebration of diversity, we might say in today's language, a celebration of directions and dialects. But now there are fewer places being inhabited by human beings and by animals and plant life, for that matter, and there are fewer languages among us. Is this conflation a source of strife for humanity? Perhaps. Some could argue it's a source of unity, a source of our joint efforts, joint strength, but I'm not sure. What I do know to be true is that language is powerful. Do you know that the expression abracadabra is Jewish? It comes from the Talmud. The Aramaic words avra kedabra mean it came to pass as it was spoken. It's a popular expression in the Talmud that comes to teach that things do indeed come to pass because they are articulated. Speech has the power to cause the world to come into being. One of God's many names is Baruch She'amar V'haya ha'olam. God is the one who spoke, and the world came into being. God said, Vayhi or, let there be light, Vayhi chen, and it was so. Similarly, human beings, every one of us created in the image of God, have the power of speech and the power to create realities by what we say. And I would add, by what we don't say as well. Some of our grade 7 students are here tonight. They know very well that speech is powerful. Words written, words spoken, face-to-face and over social media have real impact. And we need to wield this God-given power of speech with extra care, because with it we can create worlds and destroy worlds. Holy Blossom was asked to participate in an initiative called Clean Speech Toronto. Have you heard about it? Okay, Clean Speech Toronto. Throughout the month of November, which has just begun, we are asked to make an extra effort to choose our words carefully. And I will give an example from our Amidah, just how focused Judaism and the rabbinic tradition of Judaism is on this question of speech and the power of speech. If you turn to page 128, you'll see how we began the Amidah. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. God, open my lips so my mouth may declare your praise. It's an expression of humility attributed to King David. He was very powerful as far as human beings go, but he said, when it comes to prayer, I am powerless, and I depend on you, God, to open my mouth and help me to find the words that can praise you. That's how the Amidah begins. That's how we begin our Amidah. Open our mouths so that we can praise God with words of praise. Now come to the end of the Amidah on page 136, and let's see how the Amidah closes. Elohai netzor l'shoni me'ra usfatai midaber mirma. My God, keep my tongue from evil and my lips from deceit. Help me to keep silent in the face of derision and humble in the presence of all. So now we're asking God not to open our mouths, but to keep them closed, to remember when to keep them closed, how to keep them closed. When is it important to speak up and speak out, and when is it important to remain silent? And then in the middle of the page, we see, Yihiyu l'ratzon imrefi, v'hagyon libi lefanecha. May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable to you, O God. So let us use the power of speech never to harm or to hurt, but only to heal, as God intended at the beginning. Shabbat Shalom and Chodesh Tov.